first thing that came to my mind was that Kat was saying that he's giving advice to the clients. No. I'm not giving them advice, you know? I'm just pointing them to their true nature. And how I came across this understanding. While I was approaching this national house, I saw a small park outside and I was sitting there and I was thinking like, how should I start? You know? And there was nothing in my mind. I was just being, you know, in the present moment. And the first thing that came to my mind was just, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so lucky, and you are as well. We are so lucky to be here and to share this profound understanding. And how I came across this profound understanding. When I was invited, for example, just imagine that I was invited for this conference 4 years ago, I would be saying like, okay, it's a very nice speech, I like it, but I have got something for you that is real deal. Strategies, techniques, tools, and this kind of stuff. And maybe I will start with my story. As Kat already said, I was a professional footballer until very young age. I finished career when I was 22 years old because of my problems with the back, and it was not possible to continue the professional career in that way. And one of the things that I came to psychology first was I was suffering myself, and I was searching for the relief. Okay, so I studied psychology and education of adults, actually here in Prague. So, and I was searching all the time, you know. And then I came across NLP, hypnosis, and this kind of stuff. And I was providing a lot of presentations to different companies, different people. And at one of the presentations, it was actually, I think that it was how to successfully present. So I was giving the certain steps to the people. And they said to me, there were two managers attending. And they said to me like, we are searching for somebody like you. So if you are interested, that we will give you good conditions and you will be a strategic buyer for an international company. And I said, why not? Let's try. And I spent 8 years in that company, almost 8 years, and I really enjoyed that. But I was still feeling like I missed something. You know? And it came out of nowhere. One day I was sitting in the office, and it was just real true calling like, what you are doing here, Michael? You should be coaching people. You should be helping others. And the other day, I gave notice to the company, and in 4 months, I was already coaching. And it was really nice coincidence that the day after I gave notice, I met one of the guys, and he said to me like, I know that you were playing football on a professional level. It was a hockey player, actually. And he said to me like, you study psychology and these kind of things. Could you help me? It was the day after I gave notice, and I've got goosebumps, I'm saying that. And I said to the guy, of course, I'm a mental coach. You know, a journey started over there. And it was really incredible. So I studied also mental coaching, like long distance study like using all those strategies, techniques, and this kind of stuff. And by coincidence, because I was all the time searching, of course, not only to relieve myself, but also to help other people. And by coincidence, I came across one book, and this book is called Still Power. And it's written by Garrett Kramer, American guy. And when I was reading that, I saw something on a deeper level that it's true. Oh my God, this guy is true, even though it was completely opposite to what I have learned since all those years, right? And after I read this book, I wrote to him, and he replied, I would say within 2-3 days. We had a chat, 2 hours chat via Skype, and I would say the journey of this understanding had just started with the book. Of course, I prepared some presentation, I've got some slides, but most of the time when I'm presenting, I don't use it at all. But what I will use is the short video, okay? And the short video is about the Still Power, about the book, it's sort of promo. And of course, I was asking Garrett for the acceptance if I could use this video, and he said, of course, buddy, you can use it. So I will use it, yeah.
Let's imagine it's before the championship game. In the background, You can hear the fans. You can feel the moment. And you certainly want to give your best performance. You want to find the zone. But how? Do you get revved up? Do you have a ritual? Do you recite positive mantras? What should you do? What if I told you the answer was nothing? Let me give you a little backstory here. In fact, let's go way, way back. When you were a child, you played in a completely free state of mind. Even though everything was new to you, you were able to intuit the game's flow. External circumstances just didn't matter. As you grew older, coaches, teachers, and your loving parents started giving you tools and techniques to force every ounce of ability out of you. Sometimes these external tools worked, sometimes they didn't, and your inner awareness was lost. So how do we revisit that childhood state where the zone appeared naturally? We uncover a fundamental element called still power. When you're caught in a low level of well-being, you should do nothing. In fact, the more you try to will yourself to do something, the further from the zone you'll find yourself. This goes against everything we've been taught, every notion of coach speak. We all know how to rev ourselves up, but if you could stop stepping on the gas when your tires are in mud, you'd be performing in a very different psychological dimension from others. Still power allows individuals to access their own inner wisdom. When you are clear, resolute, or still, you are truly powerful.
Okay, guys. You like it? Me as well. So the journey started really at this point when I read the book. I say we, but professional athletes, my clients, they are told from the side of coaches that there is something wrong with them. For example, I used to remember when I was going to the match, my coach used to tell me like, you have to be confident. Be confident, guys. Kick their asses. Okay? And I was feeling rubbish. Like, oh my God, I was feeling like shit. And he was telling me, no, you have to be confident. Okay? So I thought at the time that there is something wrong with me. I look around and everybody seems confident. It was the illusion. And that was the way, I'm really convinced that the people are suffering from two reasons. The first reason is that they are fighting bodies. They are fighting their current experience. So they think, second reason is that they think that there is something better than now. It's illusion. It's illusion. From moment to moment we are thinking and we are creating our experience by power of thought. I have to be clear here. It's not our thoughts. It's just the power of thought. Just imagine, and I used to say to guys, or to my client, like, imagine that this sort of energy coming through you, and you are experiencing that, and based on this energy, you have feelings, but it's not telling anything about you, about your performance, about your future or past, about your circumstances, about people around you. It just says that you have got some thinking in a moment. And this thinking changes all the time. Right? When I was going on this stage, I could feel a bit nervous, but I said, no big deal, no problem. In the past, I thought it's a problem and I had to fix it. So the journey of searching started, you know. And I remember clearly when I was coaching one professional athlete. This was a hockey player, a national player of Slovakia. And it was by coincidence because I am from the hometown where there are 5 national hockey players and they are playing in NHL. From small hometown, from small town, and it's called Trenčín. And it's just 60,000 people living there, and we have got 5 players in NHL. So I was quite lucky to work with some of them, of the guys. And I remember I was coaching that guy, and I said to him, like, you have to do these techniques, blah, 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 blah. And he came to my office after I came back from the conference in London 3 years ago. And I said to him, you don't have to do that, guy. You don't have to do that. You can do that if you want, but you don't have to. Okay? And he was very puzzled, because I was very strong on that, doing the techniques 5 minutes before he's going to sleep, 5 minutes in the morning when he gets up and so on, this kind of thing. And I said to him, it was a question of 2 weeks, and I said, no, don't have to do that. So I completely changed my style, because I saw that this is true. And I've been working mostly with the professional athletes, as Kat said. I've been also working with some businessmen, and even people from within life coaching. Okay? So I'm not saying that this is only applied in sport and in professional sport, because there is nothing to apply. We just work on certain principles as people, but we can't see them. That's the reason why it's so confusing. We can't see thought. We can feel it. But people think that they feel something else, not the thought, because we can't see the thought. I cannot bring the thought here and, this is my thought. And actually, it's not my thought. I'm not choosing that. If I'm choosing the thought, if I'm choosing the feeling, I would be choosing positive. Or things like, I would all the time be confident, motivated, and these kind of things. But I'm not choosing them. Guys, we are not choosing the feelings. Why should I be fighting with something that I'm not choosing? Okay? I want to be super clear about that, because sometimes people think that it's their thinking, and again, we are in a cognitive behavioral therapy, and we need to change the content of the thinking and so on. No, we don't have to do that. It changes by itself. It comes and goes by itself. 1 minute, I take a look at my wife. She's not here, but I take a look at her, Drahomira, and I said, you are the nicest woman in the world. I'm the happiest man. And 5 minutes later, I said, she's not that nice. And obviously, she hasn't changed in 5 minutes, right? I go to the conference, and I think that, wow, you will do that, man. You have got everything inside yourself. You come to the stage and say, not really. Okay? But it doesn't matter what I am thinking. Because you could be thinking anything, it doesn't mean it's true. It's not true. But people, and also, according to my experience also in sport, they are taught since the childhood that they are the product of their performance, for example, when we are in a professional sport. They so link the human level, let's say. They are so linking that to their performance. So for example, I remember times when I was doing that, good performance, great guy. Poor performance, I don't know how to say that, idiot, yeah? And we are conditioned, the professional athletes are conditioned to believe that it's true. So that's the reason why they are so pushed hard to play well and so on and so on. But all the time when I'm asking the athletes where the best performance is coming from, they don't say it's coming from strategy, technique, or tool, or it doesn't come from the words that my coach said to me. It just happens. It just unfolds. So we used to say that the less we think, the better feelings we have. But again, we don't choose if we have a head which is full of thoughts, or if we have a head that is clear. It's not up to us, guys. It's not up to us. And as soon as we realize that, we have a freedom. And my clients, professional athletes, really great guys, top class, they are able to also increase the performance. So I've been working a lot with the guys that previously were working with the sport psychologists or mental coaches, and as majority of the guys were giving them the strategies and techniques. And those are the things my clients used to say to me at the beginning of our cooperation, because somebody told them I am doing something different. 99% of the guys I'm working with, they don't know that I am doing principles. The guy that is doing something completely opposite than what the mainstream is doing. I'm not giving them, how should I be? Okay, mind, consciousness, thought. It sounds good, but for the athletes, it doesn't make sense. And I don't mean even for athletes, but for the ordinary people, it doesn't make sense to repeat this Okay? What is really important is the sense behind the words. Okay? So one of the things they say, I don't need another motivational speaker that is trying to motivate me using his own beliefs and personal opinions. I don't need another self-development coach that is telling me how to think, how to change my thinking, how to educate myself, etc. I don't need another sports psychologist focusing on improving my performance based on applying external techniques, tools, strategies, and so on. You can read it by yourself anyway. It was quite funny. I was invited for a conference back in January this year, and it was the biggest conference in Europe for the sports psychologists. I was the only mental coach. I was the only mental coach over there, and there was, I would say, double bigger room than this one. I would say 250 people over there. Majority of them were psychologists, and it was a 2-day seminar conference. And I came at the end of the first day, and I said to the guys, everything what we have heard so far, try to forget it. And they, of course, started to laugh, as you know. And it was quite funny because I was going on a stage and I think, what will they think about myself? Am I crazy or not? Because I was talking about something completely different in comparison to the mainstream, right? But what happened at the end, it was like, oh, thank you very much. You provided us other viewpoint. Some people call it, they think that I'm doing mindfulness. It looks like sometimes for some people. Even some people came to me, I know what you are talking about. You are talking about positive thinking. I said, oh my God. Half an hour waste of time. So what is really happening in my career is that as soon as we go to the personal, for example, personal thinking, we are not looking in the right direction. So that's the reason why I try to point people into impersonal. As soon as you start to talk about thinking, thought, and content of the thought, the person starts to think about it more and more and more. One of the things that at least my clients are saying it's very helpful for them is that they are mentally resilient. They don't have to do anything to be mentally resilient. That is something that they have within. But due to their conditional thinking, due to their personal thoughts, they can't see that. As soon as the personal thought falls away, oh my God, like this, maybe you are sitting now and you don't have your personal concepts in your head, opinions and so on, and you just enjoy what is. It's true. As soon as you start to think, you lose that thinking. I remember when I was leading in the first day of conference 3 years ago, and I was going across the park, and suddenly I felt like, I am free again. And of course, I associated this feeling to Michael's speech, for example. No, that feeling came from myself, from within. And my mind used to be very busy, thinking, and these kind of things, applying, searching, and these kind of things. And suddenly, there was nothing. And some people could think, on one side, it was, wow, it was great feeling again. But on the other side, I was scared. Oh my God, what is happening? Does anyone experience that? And I said, okay, maybe I shouldn't have learned about this understanding. Maybe it would be much better to stay with the techniques and strategies. It's much easier. I think that Michael used the expression like useful-ize. Even though it seems to be much easier for me to go back to the useful-ize, I stayed with the understanding. And it was a good decision anyway. I was not able to go back because I saw the truth. And it's quite amazing with this understanding that what you saw a year, for example, a month ago, or maybe a year ago, now you take a look, how could I thought that it's true? I saw it completely different perspective. I see it from a completely different perspective now. I wrote a book. It's called The Model of a Clear Mind. 50% of, okay, maybe you can buy it, but 50% of the book, I would be changing or writing differently. Because I see it now differently. Because I was writing the book a year ago. I see it differently now. And that's sometimes, the guys are saying to me, and I used to say like, you are conscious, you are aware of the world. And I would say it's one of the insights I had a few months ago, and I said, you are not conscious of the world. You are the consciousness. You are the awareness. And there's a big difference. You are mind. You are not experiencing mind. You are mind. You are not your thinking. When I take a look at the history of my coaching, which is not so long, it's 4 years, I see that I used to be, since I came across the principles, I used to be talking a lot about thinking and thought and these kind of things. The last few months, seldom. I seldom do that because I see that people have a tendency to again look at the person when we are talking about thinking. But when we are talking about the energy of life, about mind, I used to use the expression like universal energy, because when you are working with the professional athletes and you tell them, you are the spiritual nature of life, okay? You are mind. No, I use the expression, they like the expression energy. Okay, we know the energy. Would like to have more energy? Yes, you are the energy. Okay? So I think it's more helpful to people to point to the people, to the impersonal than to the personal. Because we so much identify ourselves with the ego that we forget who we really are. We think that we are those concepts, ideas, and blah, blah, blah. But we are not. We are the energy of life. We are mind. That's very helpful also for the professional athletes to know. So it means that as a byproduct of this understanding, they try to less and less identify with their performance. But it doesn't mean that, I'm so satisfied, I don't have to play well. Of course not. They want to play well. We want to win. We want to achieve the trophies, but not by the price that we want to achieve this in order to be happy. We are happy right now. We are lucky. We are lucky guys. It happens to me at times that even the professional athlete, big guy, hockey player, and he starts to cry. So amazing. We are so lucky to be introduced to this profound and simple understanding. As soon as we start to complicate it, the life gets complicated. So what I see, I have learned a lot of theories. For example, in psychology, we have over 450 different approaches. And most of them, I would say, majority, all of them are looking in the wrong direction. That there is something wrong with you, you need to be fixed, you need to apply something, etc., etc. I remember when I came across this understanding, a lot of coaches said, you have got mental health within you. And I said, really? Okay. And then I was sitting in a coaching and there was a guy, he was actually not from a professional sport, and he was telling all those things like blah, blah, blah. He believed what he was thinking and he was saying that. And I was sitting there, it was just at the beginning I came across this understanding, and I said, this guy doesn't have mental health. He has lost it. Really? I thought so. Of course, I didn't tell him to him. I told him like, you have got mental health, but I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. Okay, I was just telling them, but I didn't believe it. But what is really so strong that, for example, a year ago, the guy came to my office, the other one. He was talking because he was feeling his thinking, and he was saying a lot of shit. And I saw the mental health in his eyes, just like this. And I said to him, really, you have got mental health within you. It's not a cliche, it's not like saying, but I really believe it, and I saw it in his eyes. And when I'm saying to this now, I'm really emotional because this work could really help you. Not in your professional life, as I'm working or dealing with the professional athletes, but also with in your personal lives. It's not something that we have created principles to help you, okay? No, it's just fundamental principles. We can't see them. We are working on the basis of these principles. You can believe it or not, you can like it or not. it happens to me at times that the guy came to my office, and he said to me, doesn't work that way, because it works this way. And I have a tendency to convince him that he's wrong. But I see it now that it's innocent. He has got some beliefs, he has got some thoughts about life, and it's okay. I'm not pushing you. So that was the beginning of my speech. That I told that I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying how the life is working. You can take something out of it or not. It's not up to me. It's not up to us to decide. For example, imagine that I will be sitting in the office, like working on a good position, and I was like, I will just decide I will be a mental coach. This could be working that way, but it just came. So it's called insight. Like, you see something completely different, you saw it before. So I can use an example of the mental health. I saw in the other guy, I saw the mental health, and then I saw it in you. And there is just too much thinking in a moment, and that's it. No big deal. Thinking passes. Thought passes by itself. So we don't have to analyze it, go inside the thought. It just happens. Of course, I prepared a presentation. I use only 2 slides, but that's okay. To me, it's more calm. So we will be speaking about this understanding, of course, during my workshops as well. And as I'm coming from the professional field or field of sport, that most people think that I will be speaking only about sport, but if you could imagine how my coaching is unfolding, it's like I rarely talk with my clients about sport. Professional athlete, football player. I have been working, for example, with the most successful football team in Slovakia, Slovan Bratislava, and we are not talking too much about soccer, about football. We are talking about life. We are talking about the true nature. Sometimes we are talking about thinking or thought, the power of thought. A lot we are talking about the energy of life. A lot we are talking what to do or not to do when we are feeling, like shit. Because we have a tendency to overcome it by willpower. Because we are taught to do so. Especially in the professional sport, we are taught to do or to overcome it. You can do this. Okay? And that's one of the things that is blocking our true nature to appear, to come to life. I've been presenting a lot, and this time, this is a little bit getting on my nerves, 19 seconds. Most of my speeches are a little bit longer, so you can use this opportunity, as I said, on my workshops. Do not hesitate. So again, thank you very much, guys. I was really enjoying those half an hour with you. And have a great lunch, and thanks again.